Hey, welcome back to that God Power channel. This is the channel where we unlock the God Power that's laying dormant on the inside of you. But first, today what we're going to do is we're going to continue breaking down the book of Genesis like we've been doing. I think last time we did chapter 4, so naturally we got to do chapter 5 today. Now, chapter 4, it showed the descendants of Cain, and we went through Cain's family line, and we learned about Jubal and Jabal. You know what I'm saying? Jubal, the music dude, and Jabal, the city guy. We learned about all kinds of things from that chapter. But chapter 5, it takes the bloodline of Adam, and it goes all the way down to Noah. So what we learned about chapter 4 is Seth. Seth was the next son of Adam and Eve. So remember, it was Cain, but then Cain and Abel, but then Abel got killed by Cain, and then there's Seth. So Seth is the third son. And this is where we pick up. So we're just going to figure out how we got from Seth and Adam and Eve all the way to Noah, right? Like we went through Cain's line, so let's go through this line right here. So this is the written account of the descendants of Adam. When God created the human beings, he made them to be like himself. He created them male and female, and he blessed them and called them human. When Adam was 130 years old, he became the father of a son who was just like him in his very image, and he named him Seth. After the birth of Seth, Adam lived another 800 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Together, he lived 930 years, and then he died. Bro, what? Bro was ancient. Do you understand what 100 years is? 100 years ago from right now, it was 1925. The Great Depression was about to start. That was only one, maybe 2/10 of bro's life. You know what I'm saying? He still had tons of life to live after that. That's wild. And it says that he had other sons and daughters. But we don't go through the bloodline of them. We're about to just go through Seth's bloodline and not the other sons and daughters, which is interesting. Who are the daughters of Adam and Eve? Like, right? You know what I'm saying? Who is that? Who? Right. Because what if you follow the bloodline? I mean, obviously every single human is connected, but just like how Cain's bloodline went down, you see Lamech and all them. Well, there's another bloodline, which is Seth's bloodline. So which bloodline are you connected to, right? Who knows? We'll see after this. So anyways, when Seth was 105 years old, bro became the father of Enosh. Now, Seth was 105. We be tripping out when we don't have babies at 30 and 40, bro. But bro was 105 and had a kid. After the birth of Enosh, he lived another 807 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Seth lived 912 years total, then he died. When Enosh was 90 years old, he became the father of Kenan. Now, these people are having babies at really late ages. I wonder who the wives are, right? Are the wives equally as old, or are they like younger wives? Good question. They don't mention it in here. Anyways, when Kenan was 70 years old, he became the father of Mahalalel. And after his birth, Kenan lived another 840 years and had other sons and daughters. Kenan lived 910 years, then he died. Now, Mahalalel, Kenan's son, was 65, and then he became the father of Jared. And then he lived another 830 years, had other sons and daughters. Mahalalel lived 895 years, then he died. Bro, average lifespan of these people is 800 something. Like, so these kids are being born 60, 90, 100 years into these people's lives. Then they have other sons and daughters that, of course, those 800, 900 years. Imagine how big these families are. They probably are huge. Imagine their family reunions, bro. When Jared was 162, he became the father of Enoch. Now, this is the Enoch that y'all know. And Enoch lived another 800 years and had sons and daughters. Jared was 962, and then he died. When Enoch was 65 years old, he became the father of Methuselah. After the birth of Methuselah, Enoch lived in close fellowship with God for another 300 years and had other sons and daughters. Now listen to this. Enoch lived 365 years walking in close fellowship with God. Then one day he disappeared because God took him. Do you guys see that? The whole time we were following a pattern. People were living, then they died. You know, they lived, they had a child or a successor that were following through the bloodline, and then they died. But Enoch, right, whose dad is named Methuselah, he didn't die, or didn't say he died. He says he disappeared because God took him. What does that mean, right? That's pretty interesting. There's a book called the Book of Enoch. That's the Enoch they're talking about right there. And so I don't know how trustworthy that book is, right? I don't know if it's like approved as a historical source to be reading, or if it's part of the Apocrypha or what. But that's the Enoch they're talking about right there. Anyways, when Methuselah was 187 years old, he became the father of Lamech. This is not that same Lamech that we heard about before. But then he lived another 782 years and had other sons and daughters. Methuselah lived 969 years total, and then he died. When Lamech was 182 years, he became the father of Noah. Now let's think about this, right? Let's go backwards a little bit. Methuselah, Enoch. So Enoch, 365 years, right? All right. But when Enoch was, how old was he when he had a child? He was 65, and he became the father of Methuselah. Okay. So then he lived 300 more years. So Enoch is still alive. If Methuselah had a son at 187, then Enoch is still alive while Lamech is still alive, right? And so that's Lamech's grandfather is Enoch, and he's still alive. So Lamech saw Enoch disappear. That's wild. And we know Lamech is Noah's pops. So if you don't know, Noah is the dude who has the story that we're going to talk about soon, which is the boat, the ark, the flood. We've all heard that story in some capacity, I'm sure. All right. Anyways, so Lamech's son was named Noah. And he said he named him this because he's going to bring us relief from our work and the painful labor of farming this ground that the Lord cursed. That's why his name is Noah. After the birth of Noah, Lamech lived another 595 years and had other sons and daughters. So Noah had brothers and sisters, a whole rack of them. He didn't say, well, you just can imagine after 500 years, he's going to have he's going to get a few, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, Lamech lived 777 years total, then he died. So after Noah was 500, then he became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Japheth. That's how you say that name. So these are the people that are iconic in the story of the flood. Noah, Shem, Ham, Japheth. And you're going to learn their families too. But this is the setup. We just followed the bloodline from Adam, then Seth, all the way down. Whereas Enoch, all these, like, there's a special bloodline, right? All the way down to Noah so far. And what happens next is awesome. You all know the story, but it's really cool to dive into. But that's the end of chapter 5. Thank you for joining me in chapter 5. I can't wait to show you chapter 6. Let's break down chapter 6. It'd be good practice. Go ahead and read it in advance. Or, we can wait to the next video. No problem. But it's the story of the flood. Very good story. So I hope you learned something today. Hope you treat everybody wonderful. And other than that, I just want you to remember that you got that God power. On your heart, tugging on your... Get them.